Hey everybody, it's Ron from Pick Dawgz, and this is Ron's Rundown. We're going to go over the MLB games scheduled for Wednesday, May 14th, 2025. If you like this video, make sure to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe. Put your baseball picks in the comments section below. And if you're looking for my best bets, including my daily rundown best bet in Major League Baseball, you can find those at the Premium Picks tab at pickdawgz.com. There's also a link in the description. Alrighty, here we go. Here are the games for Wednesday in Major League Baseball. Next up, the Milwaukee Brewers taking on the Cleveland Guardians. We've got no official starter right now for Milwaukee, but Gavin Williams should be going for Cleveland. Now, I don't love the fact that Williams has been struggling with the free passes recently, giving up 9 walks his last 2 starts. Definitely not a recipe for success, but he is missing a lot of bats. He's got 17 strikeouts in those last 2 games against the Phillies and the Blue Jays, and by the way, those ended up being Guardians wins, 5-3 and 6-0. So wins by more than 1 run, and Cleveland's won 3 of his last 4 starts. I think Williams can go 5-6 decent innings. Usually, hopefully that control's a little bit sharper, but I also think Cleveland has a really strong bullpen. No official starter for Milwaukee. Could be more of a bullpen game or a spot starter. Really don't love either of those options, even though I think the Brewers' bullpen is underrated right now. I think they're a lot better than their current bullpen ERA. It's still a situation where you don't want them going the full 9 innings. So I'm going to roll with the Cleveland Guardians at Progressive Field on the money line. Next up, the Arizona Diamondbacks taking on the San Francisco Giants. Eduardo Rodriguez and Jordan Hicks are the projected starters. 2 starting pitchers with steep ERAs on the season, but I gotta say, I mentioned at the beginning of the year I didn't love Jordan Hicks as a starting pitcher. I am starting to change my tune a little bit, and I've been impressed with him in his recent starts. Even the last game, it wasn't a Giants win. It was a 3-1 loss to Minnesota, but Hicks had a quality start in that game. 6 strikeouts, no walks, no home runs. He's been better as a starter in his last couple of games, and I think he's the much better option in this matchup when you compare the current form of Eduardo Rodriguez. He's been really struggling, a lot of base runners, a lot of sharp contact, and while the Giants are not a great lineup against lefties, I still think they'll be able to score some runs on Rodriguez, and I think the Giants have the better bullpen in this game, so I'm going to roll with San Francisco in this one on the money line at Oracle Park. Next up, we got the New York Yankees taking on the Seattle Mariners. We've got Will Warren and Luis Castillo as the projected starters. Luis Castillo's been a little bit inconsistent lately. We saw not a great outing for him in that last game against the Blue Jays. In his career, we've seen him against the Yankees' current lineup. Solid numbers, 25% strikeout rate. The walk rate's a little steep. Expected slugging percentage at .425. I think the Yankees can score a couple of runs off him. And I got to say, Will Warren, probably his best start of the season in that last game. He pitched deep into the ball game, 7 strikeouts against the A's in a hitter-friendly ballpark, no home runs given up. I was really impressed with him. I still think he's an underrated starter in this Yankees rotation. I think the Yankees win this game on the road. I'm going to take the Yanks on the money line. Next up, we've got the Boston Red Sox taking on the Detroit Tigers. Hunter Dobbins and Tarek Skubal are the starters. Even though Dobbins has pitched pretty well, 22 2/3 with a sub-3 ERA, I still think this is a lopsided pitching matchup in favor of Detroit. I think the Tigers win this game and cover the run line. Now, it's not my favorite game on the board just based on the price, but I think Skubal is proven to be, especially when you look at his strikeout numbers as of late and his control. He's given up 1 walk his last 5 starts combined, ton of strikeouts to go with it. It was a 2-1 win, failed run line cover, but win against the Rangers in that last game. 7 innings, 1 run, 12 strikeouts. He's just at the top of his game right now, the reigning Cy Young winner. The Red Sox, they're against left-handed pitching, mixed results this year, but I still think Skubal at Comerica is tough to go against. So I'm going to roll with the Tigers in this one. They've won his last 3 games and 4 of his last 5. Give me Detroit laying the 1.5 runs. Next up, we got the Tampa Bay Rays and the Toronto Blue Jays. Ryan Pepiot and Chris Bassett are the starters. Chris Bassett, his last 3 starts, 6 home runs combined. Not something we're used to seeing from Bassett, but it's definitely a concern for me. Along with a lot of base hits given up, he's still earning strikeouts, and he's not giving up too many free passes. But the Rays have great numbers against Bassett in their career matchups. Pepiot's in good form right now, even though he's not earning as many strikeouts as we would like to see from him. I still think he's a good option in this game, and I'm going to roll Tampa Bay on the money line on the road. Next up, we got the Pittsburgh Pirates taking on the New York Mets. We got Bailey Falter and Clay Holmes as the starters. Bailey Falter had a nice outing his last game against the Braves, but that was a Braves lineup that recently has struggled against left-handed pitching, while the Mets in the last couple of weeks, they've been one of the best lineups in baseball against southpaws, and you can kind of compare their numbers to a team that's also been crushing lefties, the Los Angeles Dodgers, a team that Falter did face back on April 27th and gave up 5 earned runs and 7 total runs in a 9-2 blowout. Now, I'm not sure this game gets that ugly, but I think the Mets can put together similar results. I think we could see them score 3-4 runs early off a falter, add a couple of runs off the Pirates bullpen. I would lean towards the Mets team total over, but I also think just take the Mets on the run line as well, with Clay Holmes pitching as well as he has as a starting pitcher this season. Great Mets bullpen behind him. They've won his last 5 starts, and all of those wins were run line covers as well. 7-2, 9-3, 2-0, 7-4, and 5-1. So give me the Mets in this one on the run line. Next up, we got the Chicago White Sox taking on the Cincinnati Reds. We got Davis Martin and Nick Lodolo as the projected starters. Lodolo, great outing for him in his last game. Again, though, it was against the Atlanta Braves, a team that struggled against lefties, but so is the White Sox. Chicago's been one of the weaker labs in baseball against lefties overall in 2025. I think Lodolo can put together a good outing, but we got to remember his last start at Great American, he did struggle, giving up 6 runs against the Nationals, 6 earned runs in an 11-6 loss, so a little bit concerning there. This is not my favorite game on the board, but I do think Cincinnati backs him up against Davis Martin. He wasn't his best in his last game. I don't love him as a starting pitching option right now. Doesn't really miss a lot of bats. The control's been off a little bit. So I'm going to roll with the Reds in this one on the run line at Great American Ballpark. Next up, we got the Washington Nationals taking on the Atlanta Braves. Mitchell Parker and Bryce Elder are the starters. Parker's not in great form right now. He's given up a lot of earned runs in his last few starts. 5+ in 2 of his last 3. He also gave up 4 in his last game against the Cardinals in 4 innings of work. But he is facing a Braves team that we just talked about the last couple of games that is struggling against left-handed pitching. Since April 22nd, a team OPS of 588 against lefties, isolated power right around 100. So just not great numbers for the Braves against lefties. I think Parker going to have a bounce-back start in this game, and I think Bryce Elder shouldn't be this big of a favorite. His last game giving up 2 home runs, and it was a loss for Atlanta against the Pittsburgh Pirates as, again, a big, sizable favorite in that contest in Pittsburgh. So I got to roll with the Nationals at a great price on the money line and run line on the road. Next up, we got the Miami Marlins taking on the Chicago Cubs. Ryan Weathers and Jameson Taillon are the projected starters. Weathers making his season debut, of course. And we got to remember last year, it was kind of an underrated or, not really talked about season from Ryan Weathers. He put together a 2.1 WAR season, 86 innings of work, 3.63 ERA, right around a strikeout per inning. He was a really quality starting pitcher in this Marlins rotation. And I think, he pitched well in his rehab starts, obviously a small sample size, but I think he could put together a solid outing, probably about 3-4 innings at the most. I don't expect to go too deep into this ball game, but I think he can give the Marlins a good chance at the beginning of this one, and I could see them scoring a couple of runs off of Taillon. I'm going to take the Marlins plus a half a run in the first 5 innings, also plus 1.5 runs in the full game. Next up, the Colorado Rockies taking on the Texas Rangers. Antonio Senzatella and Patrick Corbin are the projected starters. Now listen, Patrick Corbin has pitched very well to start the season, a lot better than the expectations that we had for him going into the year. It still doesn't make him this big of a favorite, though, in my opinion. I think we've seen the Rockies cover the run line the first game of this series. This is a situation where Senzatella is also not my favorite option to back, but he's been a lot better on the road with a sub-4 ERA. I think he could be good enough for the Rockies to do some damage against Corbin to cover this run line, maybe win it outright. I think this is going to be a competitive game, and like I said, I just can't get there with Patrick Corbin at this kind of price. Now, when he was facing Skubal and the Tigers last week, where the Rangers were plus 260 on the money line, and they were getting plus money as a run line dog, that's a different story. Corbin was solid in that ball game, but at this kind of price, I got to roll with the Rockies plus 1.5 runs on the money line on the road. Next up, we got the Kansas City Royals and the Houston Astros. Michael Lorenzen for KC, no official starter for the Astros. At Kauffman Stadium, Lorenzen's been basically untouchable. 19 innings of .95 baseball with a 188 opponent's batting average and a 2-0 record. But on the road, 1-3 with a 5.47 ERA. Opponent's batting average about 100 points higher. Strikeout numbers are fine, but the control's been way off, and he's given up 7 home runs in those 26 innings. I can't trust him on the road here. I think the Astros can get to him. We've talked many times how the Astros have much better numbers offensively, especially against righties when they're playing at home versus on the road. I'm going to roll with the Astros. We'll see what who their official starter is. Maybe just take their team total over, but I'm going to take the Astros to the money line. Next up, the Los Angeles Angels taking on the San Diego Padres. Kyle Hendricks and Randy Vasquez are the starters. In the first game of this series, we took a shot with the Angels. Not a very popular play. A lot of people loving the Padres in the comments, and the Padres had their chance to win it. They blew the save in the end, 6-run ninth inning for LA. I'm not sure it's going to be, that kind of game here, but I think the Angels are worth a shot. Kyle Hendricks has been very inconsistent, still has an ERA above 5 on the season, but he actually matches up pretty well against his Padres lineup. He's got good numbers against the current Padres roster, and Randy Vasquez, for me, similar to Patrick Corbin, shouldn't be, and Bryce Elder, shouldn't be this big of a favorite, even though he's got the better team playing at home. He's not a starting pitcher I trust right now, and his control is always an issue. I think the Angels can score a couple of runs off him and have a chance to win this game outright. At the very least, cover the run line, so give me LA in this one. Next up, we've got the Athletics and the Dodgers. Gunnar Hoagland and Yoshinobu Yamamoto are the projected starters. Hoagland was excellent in his season debut and his MLB debut against the Marlins. He was very solid in his next start against the Mariners despite losing that game 6-5, but I don't love him in this spot. A young starting pitcher, only 2 starts into his career, now at Dodger Stadium against this Dodgers lineup, opposite of Yoshinobu Yamamoto. Now listen, Yamamoto gave up a grand slam in his last start and gave up 5 runs to go with it against Arizona, but I still think he's been one of the better pitchers in the National League. He's been excellent at Dodger Stadium this season. His numbers so far at home, 16 innings, 24 strikeouts, a 1.69 ERA. I'm going to roll the Dodgers in this one on the run line at Dodger Stadium. And that's it. Those are the games for Wednesday in baseball. Hope you enjoyed this video. Again, if you're looking for my best bets, you can find those at Pick Dawgz Premium, and there is a link in the description. As always, this is Romanelli. Good luck.